Hello, everyone. It is Monday, April 1st, 2024, and this is the video for today. So in the last video, I gave a pick, which was MPC. So let's take a look at MPC. You can see it's made a pretty nice, about 1 ATR move here, so you can get a pretty nice chunk of profits. So you can count that as a win. Personally, I would say that you could even hold on to this trade a little bit longer after it's found support. I think we're going to see some nice continuation because we are moving up on a day where the market is flat and slightly down. So MPC, I'm still going to count it as open. I'm not going to log it as a win because this is an opportunity where it's showing relative strength, and I think we can ride the move here for some even bigger gains. The other trade I want to call out earlier was Dallas. So I said, hey, we got this breakout over here. We want to stick to it until it gets around 48.70, and that's where we take profits. So it hit that in the AM, and you can see here the double top. It broke through this level, came back, chopping around this area. We got another move here, and then we rejected higher. So you actually should have been filled in on the open if you had Dallas. So that is a nice win on our books. I'm also going to update the March trades video over here, so that way we get some more accurate stats on the month as we see how it plays out. So that's another nice win for the month. Let's look at the market. So on a D1 basis over here, I've drawn a lot of these boxes, so I may actually remove these drawings, but these are talking about just shorter term entry points in that video. So let me remove these drawings over here. I know I do that channel, and you can see how since this move of higher, we're going up nice and steady, but the price action has kind of been weakening in the last month or so. And how can we tell? There's a lot more red candles recently, right? A lot or more red candles over here, a couple of green candles, and then nothing. So even though our market bias is bullish, we are shifting more to a 2 bullish on the longer term basis. We had some news that came out today, some ISM manufacturing that was a little bit weaker than usual, and that caused some intraday bearishness. We had some end of month balancing, so there was some extra volume. You can see that picking up over here on the 27th and the 28th, getting some pretty big end of day moves intraday. Later this month, we got a couple of events coming out. JOLTS is coming out tomorrow. ISM and ADP is coming out on Wednesday. Unemployment report is coming out on Friday. We have the CPI next week on the 10th, and then the FOMC minutes on the 10th, which I don't think are going to change anything, but if you're a day trader, you should be aware of that announcement. PPI is going to be on the 12th, and usually I'm like not crazy about PPI because after CPI is here, the air gets let out of the balloon, but more recently, PPI has been having an effect in the last two statements, so this is something that I'm keeping in mind because it does seem that it is being factored more into the picture of inflation. Retail sales is on the 15th, which is also tax day. No FOMC meeting this month, and we have our mega cap tech earnings this month. So after that first half, we have bank earnings kicking off on the 12th with JPM, and then we have mega cap tech earnings coming up. Tesla's first on the 17th, Google and Microsoft next week on the 23rd, Meta is on the 24th, Amazon is on the 25th, and then Apple is on May 2nd. So the second half of the month is going to be backed with some pretty big mega cap tech earnings. So fairly, I mean, it's a lot of this stuff is obviously monthly. No FOMC meeting, but we do have our mega cap tech, so that's why it's going to be a little bit more of an interesting month, and it does affect our shorter term bias. So we know that longer term bias is too bullish. We're not going to get super aggressive with our longs like we could do here, but we're looking to buy dips and buy. I think these compression breaks, these D1 market events is where we can be aggressive with our swings. We know that the last market action in the last week was pretty dull, very low volume. We had this slow drip lower on a week, move down, lots of green candles, found some support, and then we started to rally up right on the breakout level over here. If I can draw that in with my caps lock. Okay, guess I cannot here. So we can see here, it came here, tested the breakout, that held, and we're starting to inch higher. The move is not very strong. The move is pretty weak. So we are evaluating the nature of this move as it comes up. We did make a new high of the year very briefly on the 28th before getting smacked down. So we can see if we'll grind up high to the high of the year. I don't think the market's overextended. It's not too far from its 8 EMA like it was in this case on the 21st. I'm not too worried about a pullback at this stage. We have some news coming out this week. We're going to have a bid into earnings. But I'm also not really worried about a capitulation because the market hasn't really been taking off too much. Capitulation will probably have to happen around 5:30 if we drew this upward sloping trend line. And every day that we compress, it's going to take a bigger and bigger move to capitulate because the high plus trend line is moving farther away from our price. I'm also not worried about the bottom falling out. We know that they're buyers here. They're just not as strong or not as aggressive as they were over here. So support for the day, I had the 8 EMA, and below that I had the low from the 27th, which was 519.50. So those are our two areas of support. For resistance, we had intraday, we obviously the all-time high from the previous day, and I had the prior day low over here. So that's our second level of resistance. And obviously, since we're below VWAP, VWAP is going to be our next level of resistance intraday. In terms of our sectors, semis, energies, comms, tech, we're all doing pretty well today. They're all pretty relatively strong. Some relatively weak sectors were healthcare, discretionary utilities, and the interesting thing about this rally is that on the market component side, it was a little bit bullish. Mega cap tech was fairly neutral. Tech was actually stronger than the market in general. There were multiple sectors down, but it wasn't like every single sector was down. VIX was up, so that was slightly bearish, but we had a lot more stocks on our heavy buy scanner than our heavy sell scanner. So that tells me that, hey, even though this move is going down and we can't buy yet, I know that I'm not too worried about this move because we know that tech isn't bringing this market down. Tech is looking pretty strong. So when stocks in the market catch a bid, we know that tech is going to be the first one rallying. So my short-term bias was a 0 at this point. And if we look at the market, again, on the shorter term, it's gone pretty flat. It's not really been doing a whole lot, right? If we were making some strong moves, like here I was a little more bullish, and then we didn't really get much follow through over here. Here we're pretty bullish, didn't get a lot of follow through. So short term, I'm a little more neutral. So there are opportunities to take swing longs, and there's some opportunities to take some swing shorts if they are a very good setup. My intraday bias. So when I first saw this, I saw this long red candle. So my intraday bias at this point, and let's walk through the market for today. We had a flat open. We're waiting for the ISM manufacturing. We got this long red negative reaction. We get this big candle up, and then we break through the low of the day over here. So at this point, it is bearish, but we've seen that there's been some buying here, and we know that they're buyers from over here. So I wouldn't get too crazy. We also have this 1OP bullish cross. So we want to wait for that cycle to produce. So we get this move lower, we're leaking lower, there's some tails, some compressions, we can't get anything off the deck, we get the next leg lower, go over here, try to get something off the deck, and then we get the next leg lower. Now we get this bearish cross here, market rallies a little bit, then it starts to stall, and then we get this, again, this next leg lower over here. Because this bounce was pretty tall, at this point, I was expecting that we could see a double bottom be forming. And I knew it for two reasons. One, the follow through on this move was good, but it wasn't insane, right? It wasn't like the bearish version of this move, which has very, very strong price action. There were buyers in here. There's a little bit of choppiness. This was a pretty good, decently bearish move with good volume, decent price action. But when we get a tall bounce like this, a double bottom is more likely. So we test this low over here, and then buyers come in and defend this level with a nice long bullish engulfing candle at 125. So when I saw this, I became more confident in being neutral. I'll tell you the mistake I made too, where I switched my bias here to bullish. I was probably a 1 bullish at this point. I thought with this move is over, we have a chance to now rally over here. And so far, I've been proven correct. But we can see that the nature of this rally is very low quality. Sellers are in here, sellers are in here, sellers are in here. So buyers have a temporary win. And we're testing this relative high right here, and we're trying to get a close above this level. So if you're interested in getting short, I'd wait to see how we react over here, how we react at VWAP, if we're able to get anything going. Otherwise, I think we'll have another shot and maybe testing the low of the day. But right now, I'm a 1 bullish until I see some sort of double top. Or maybe, I wouldn't like a long red candle, but I'd like to see a double top form. And then you could probably take a swing short overnight. So current bias right now is a 1. And what are some of the picks? So this is an interesting day where I wouldn't really take a lot of swing longs because the market is not above its prior day high. We got a little bit of selling over here, and I wanted to see some support form. So the only thing I did is when I looked at all of my picks, I went to MPC, and let's look at our MPC pick, and I'm like, hey, this stock is doing really, really well. So I added to the position. And when did I add to the position? I added when the market confirmed support over here at 140. So that's where the market confirmed support. Here's the stock at 140, making a new high of the day. And now it's been able to grind higher on pretty nice volume. And this has just been a beautiful chart. We've seen early test of the day, strong action, we buy all the way up. Early test of the day, strong action, and then we start to grind all the way up. This rally is not as high quality as this rally, but you have to remember this has been in a weaker market. This was a flat market yesterday, so we had a nice potential for a much nicer move. The fact that it's been able to make excellent gains on a market like this, that has been going down earlier in the day, is a very nice sign of relative strength. So we added to the position. We can ride that out, and I think I'd probably extend my target a little bit higher. If we get a nice gap up tomorrow, I'll take some nice profits on the entire thing. But MPC, really nice price action for today. So that's the only thing I really added in terms of a trade. Couple of picks that are coming on my radar. The first one that I liked was Google. Broke through this compression, new all-time high, through the gap, through this downward sloping trend line. So really nice D1 breakout. Excellent volume. It's been digesting the gains the entire day while the market's been going down. That's what I like to see. Now, Google is a pretty choppy stock, and I do like this move because we're close to the 8 EMA. I think it may gain some follow through, but I would probably not do a CDS on this stock because I think it has the potential to retrace, test the bid, and then move higher. So what I'd probably do is maybe take some deeper in the money calls and then try to ride a move higher, or even take a small starter position in a swing stock and then look to add as it continues. MU was a pretty nice one earlier today. You can see that it's been on a nice post-earnings move up higher. Today, it made an excellent move, but was actually unable to hold the gains. So this was the difference between MU and Google. They looked pretty much the same over here, and then you got a pretty decent selling over here. So that tells me that there are some sellers in MU. I'm not as interested in that stock. VSDs is another really nice chart, but I want to get past and close above this high from March 26th. So I actually took VST over here on the 6th, and I took profits on the 26th at a nice leg of the trade. Pulled back to the 8 EMA, tested it, and now it's moving up higher. Could it break above this level? It could, right? But I want to be as high quality and high probability as possible. Let's zoom out to an M15 chart. You can see how we are testing this level, but we're not able to break above it right now. So we need to get a clean break above it. Otherwise, it would confirm that this is resistance and we need to get out of the position. Another one I liked a lot, WDC was nice. It's a pretty choppy stock, right? You can see how it moves in cycles, pulls back, goes up, pulls back deep, moves up, pulls back deep, moves back up. So I wouldn't want to trade it here. I think ideally I'd maybe like to trade it here, but even here it's like you don't know really how big the pullback's going to be, and you got to exit when the move starts to stall. So I'm actually going to give a pick here on the short side, which is Lulu. So let's look at this D1 chart here. Super weak post earnings, and after this move, it rested on some horizontal support that dates back all the way here. You can see how it lines up with this compression. There was a little bit of a gap. So it lines up around this 385 level, you can say. Let's draw this line here. Or 387, 388-ish. So did not rally up the market in the past couple of days. Now, Lulu broke through this level, came back up for the retest. While the market was moving up, Lulu was moving down. And we got some nice flat top HA candles that confirmed relative weakness. So we could zoom in into the intraday chart and see what it was doing. So I like Lulu as a short. So how would I approach this trade? Well, I like it pretty bearish. My market bias is neutral. And let's look at the next level of support here for Lulu. And actually, I'm going to put in the price line so we can see where Lulu is right now. So this is pretty interesting. Pretty choppy stock, but it does look like there may be some support somewhere around here. That could be a support level. We also have this old earnings gap coming into play. So that could be a potential support level here. But there's not a ton. There's maybe some minor support around this area here. Let's look at July 21st. There's a high volume candle. And I like these, these moves off these high volume candles is where you can typically find some buyers and some sellers. So to me, I think that this is probably the most valid level at 368. So let's go back to our Lulu chart. So you can see there's really plenty of room over here. And yeah, it looks like that matches up really well with this this minor level over here. There's also some very minor support forming over here. So a couple of levels. It's been choppy in the past, but because these are so long ago, I don't give it a whole ton of credence. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add a study that's going to help us see where the horizontal support and resistance could be. So we're going to go to 50 periods. And we're going to look at a nice price volume bar over here. So we're going to look at see where are the high volume candles on this stock. So we're going to clear our drawings and see if anything in Lulu here matches up. And I'm going to take off the key bars for now. Okay, so we got some high volume candles here. Or maybe I'll put in the key bars because that's also important. So anything of a key bar or high volume candle, I'm going to remove the SPY overlay because that's pretty messy. And I'm going to take off the 1OTL trend lines just so we can see some of the chart. And I'm going to, I'll keep these for now. I'll keep AVWAP for now. There's some AVWAP over here. Maybe some support around this level, 366, 368, right? So this certainly seems like a short-term support level somewhere here. So oftentimes there might not just be a certain, level, but it could also be like a range. So I could say like, hey, there's this range. This is sort of like a no man's land range where it's like, there's a couple of different levels coming into play. So I wouldn't want to do maybe too much over here. But there's just a compression over here, not a ton of volume relative to what it was before. So I think we can target the top of this zone for 368. So that matches up again with what we're doing. So we confirmed the volume in those candles. So what would I like to see in Lulu over here? And I'm going to remove I'm going to remove that study now because I don't like it on the M5. So I should see if they can only do it on the D1. That's really what I care about. Okay, so here's what I like to see. Lulu's looking relatively weak. I want to see the market close below VWAP. I don't want to see a strong close. And I want to see Lulu close above this horizontal resistance level that we drew over here. So let me draw this line. Right there. So that's where I want to see Lulu close. So if it gets that close, I think we can get a nice shorting opportunity. So how would I do this? I think a put debit spread will work pretty well. So you could probably do the 35, 38 put debit spread and definitely enter an order that is that's much lower than your current order. Or sorry, the current ask. So you usually want to get 50% on this. So something like, $2.50 is pretty good. Right now it's at 190, the 385, 380 put debit spreads. Since we're also targeting 360, I mean, you could also do like a 380, 370, which is like, that's not going to be very liquid. You want it to definitely be more at the money. So I think 385, 380, or even 385, 370. Whoops, I did it the wrong way. Wow, so that's a $10 spread that you can get for $3. So that's a pretty nice spread, if I do say so myself. And Lulu has a nice potential to move in that range. So I kind of like this 385, 375 put debit spread on Lulu. I think that's pretty good. So that's what I'm going to recommend for today's video. Let's book that in our trades. So April for 1 Lulu CDS. This is the 385, 375 CDS for $3. And let's see, tomorrow is a Tuesday. So you could probably target like 20% on a Tuesday. So you target like 20% or 25%. So how much would that be? That would be somewhere between 60 to 70 cents. And you can also, there's a bit of nuance here, but that's what we would go for the trade. And we expect it to have some nice continuation tomorrow. And also because we're out, this is a 10, the strike price is $10, so we can get some really nice movement at this level. So that's what I like today. That's going to be my pick of the day. I'm going to go with a short here, and we'll see if that works out. So let's add Lulu to our YouTube picks. Okay, we're going to take off Dallas, and then we're going to quickly look at the other picks that we have over here. So our Amazon put credit spread is doing very, very well. And I believe we have this for 412. So this is looking pretty great, pretty far out of the money, and we are in good shape. Our app long, we had a big reaction here. It's holding the line over here, and we have the goal to enter on exit close to our entry price, because it's not made the move that we liked. Same thing with Lyft. Our goal is to take a smaller loss over here. Our Wells Fargo long. Wells Fargo has a nice long green candle here, which I like. Earnings on 412, and what I want to see is if this is a buy into earn. It may not be. Let's see if it's a earn now. Post earn bull. Yeah, it's not coming up into buy into earn. It could be a little bit too soon because earnings is on the 11th. No, I mean, it should be coming up here. So that means that, oh, no, it is here. Look at this, buy into earn. Okay, so that is important because it tells us that the stock could rally, and there's a chance that we could actually break out of this compression with this earning move. So what I'm going to check here is if we have any rising IV in the stock. So let's check. Oops. Let's go to this week's. Oops. Okay, so IV is not rising. That's good. Well, actually, it just means that the move isn't priced in. So IV is not rising. JPM also will surge into earnings. So you can see bank stocks tend to be pretty strong into earnings. So that helps us. That helps me for my JPM trade. So we're going to keep an eye on that for Wells Fargo. And we're actually going to remove our scratch target right now because I could expect that this could try to rally into earnings. So I really want to see that price action where it happens. So that's what I believe for Wells Fargo here. And then we have our Lulu short. So we're looking pretty good. NPC we added. Amazon's looking nice. Lyft and App are taking some heat. Lulu we just put on today. And Wells Fargo is a buy into earn. Thanks everyone for watching. We're going to look at Lulu and our picks again tomorrow.